Gentleman from Colorado, and yield now 5 minutes to the gentleman from North Carolina, Mr. Chuck Edwards.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Swagel, thanks for being here today. I certainly agree with Mr. Lopez's point that we need to invite you here more often. I think we're going to do that. I do appreciate that. Every time we've invited you, you've been here with no resistance at all. And I look forward to a more productive, thorough, detailed dialogue on how we can dial these projections down. One question that I have that I'm particularly interested in this morning is your office estimated that the IRS's 87,000 new attack dog agents funded in the IRA would bring in $2.9 billion in fiscal year 23 and 7.8 in fiscal year 24. But according to the Economic Policy Innovation Center, it's only brought in $160 million and $360 million respectively. And I know that Congress makes huge consequential decisions based on, and you know Congress makes huge consequential decisions. Sometimes that are controversial to the American people. I can't think of one that has been more controversial. But because there's such a difference there, what can you tell us would be some of the reasons that we had such a difference?
No, thank you for the question. And it's something I've focused on a lot, in part because when we made that estimate, the executive branch criticized us as we didn't understand how much money they were going to collect, that they were going to get so much more than we thought. And one of the challenges we faced was getting information from the executive branch, from the service, the Internal Revenue Service. Well, what will you do with the money? Because that affects our modeling. There's customer service and there's enforcement. And of course, if you answer the phones, you can get more money, but they're really different. Like the dollar return from customer service is just lower than enforcement. It doesn't mean any one is more important or the other, but it's just different. We could not get them to explain to us what they do with it.
So, thank you, Mr. Swagel. What I think I hear you saying is that you were counting on information coming from the Biden and Harris administration for you to make these projections, and you did not get what you wanted, or they provided you wrong information?
It's, the information they gave with this issue, in some sense, was aspirational, that they aspired to, hit these targets. But we said, well, okay, how many dollars to this, how many dollars to that? We essentially had to just decide, not decide on our own, but say.
And so you counted on Harris and Biden administration to give you the numbers that they needed to sell this to the American people? That's what I think I hear you telling me.
They said, well, we asked the executive branch, how will you implement the law? If they can't give us the information, we have to give you an answer. And here's our projection. And so we say, well, here's how we think they might do it, and go with that.
So you took the administration's word on what they thought that they would capture by adding 87,000 IRS agents to the IRA.
On this one, we didn't, because we couldn't. They basically didn't give us clear information. So we developed the split of the money into the different functions of the service. We developed that on our own as the basis of our projection.
Okay, so I'm going to back up just a minute. I thought that I heard you begin your answer with you were counting on the Harris and Biden administration to provide you this information. Yes or no?
Yeah, we asked them for it.
Okay.
That's right.
And was it their projection that they would collect $2.9 billion and $7.8 billion?
No. That was, as I understand it, I think the numbers you said were from our projection. They had a much more optimistic projection.
All right. What was their projection?
We basically have 2 to 1. You put $1 in, you get $2 of revenue back for net. Their multiple is much higher. I don't remember exactly what their multiple
So what level of confidence did you have in their projection, and how much was that weighted towards you coming up with this obviously erroneous projection?
No, you know, we do our work independently. So, you know, we're aware of their criticism that we're not optimistic enough,
Yeah.
but we didn't take that into account.
All right. Mr. Chair, I see I'm out of time, but this, to me, feels a lot like when you go get an appraisal on a home, and the first question is, the appraiser asked, how much is your contract for? And let me work my way back to that. It seems a lot like that with far greater consequences. So I yield back. Thank you.
Well said. Thank you.